jobs and saying she's one of them?
Yes.
Yeah, let's play clip 6 now. I want you to listen to this and tell me if these are the words of an objective prosecutor or DA. Listen.
To the youth of this city, I will seek justice on your behalf. This is a moment. This is your moment. Let's ensure that we have peaceful and productive rallies that will develop structural and systemic changes for generations to come. You're at the forefront of this cause. And as young people, our time is now.
Our time is now. So she joined the rioters just now.
Yeah.
She's one of them, in other words. She sounds like a child, doesn't she? How she ever got through law school, I'll never understand.
Michael, I feel so bad for those police officers right now.
Oh, could you imagine their wives and children, what they're thinking? Their lives are ruined, no matter, even when they're found innocent of all charges, which will happen, whether it's directly or on appeal, their lives are over.
Well, I have a problem.
I would like to raise a fund for them, which I may have to do. I've done it before. No one knows this. Some of my listeners know it. I've come to the aid of falsely accused soldiers. I've come to the aid of falsely accused police. I think we should start a fund to raise money for their defense and get the best defense attorneys in America to get them or get these charges taken away from them.
That would be wonderful, Michael. Hey, the 6 that were charged, I am afraid that they're going to look at that and say, well, at least one is going to stick on one of them, and if they don't get at least one, to stick on the charge. Could you imagine the riots that were?
Oh, you mean her friends will burn the city down? The ones who she said, as young people, our time is now.
Yeah, it might be
the gang members and the young communists who came in from New York to burn the city down. Did any of them get indicted along with the cops? Did any of the arsons who burned down the senior center get indicted by this ambitious district attorney?
I know.
Did any of those who broke into the CVS and burnt it to the ground, have they been indicted by this ambitious district attorney? I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, it's a shame that they're not looking at that. It's just all pointing to the officers. And I think that he did inflict the wounds on himself as well.
That part I don't know what he did. I don't know what he did. I know he's dead. It could have been in the takedown. It could have been in the van. But there was no intent to commit homicide here, anywhere.
I agree with you. It does.
By this woman's definition of manslaughter, it means no cop can ever arrest a criminal ever again. Because any cop who takes down any criminal after this could fear that he'll be arrested for manslaughter. How is he supposed to arrest a criminal? Asking him to come with him? Excuse me, Mr. Johnson, will you please step this way and step into the handcuffs? Is that what they expect a cop to do?
You know, my heart goes out to all the police.
I have police in my family. I don't know how they can do their job. I don't know how in the world anyone can take this job on. I don't know who's going to take this job after this. I don't know. And I want to thank you for calling. Stay on the line. My new novel's coming out, Countdown to Mecca. And I'll be talking more about it next week, the week before publication. And you're going to see what I have to say about Islamic terrorism and what they're planning to do to this world. And by the way, one other side note. You want to hear who the luckiest people on earth are? Bill and Hillary Clinton. Right after the uranium scandal blew up in her face, rightly so, the thievery, the outright crookedness of these people, what happened? An earthquake in the Himalayas. What happened after that? The riots in Baltimore. Everyone's forgotten Hillary Clinton's scandals, didn't they? Right? How did this happen? Now, she didn't orchestrate the earthquake and the riots. I understand that. She's just a very lucky person. You know, some people are born with a lucky star over their head. These two are the luckiest people on the planet. All right, my friends, if you want to sound off for the remaining minutes of this hour or next hour, unfortunately, the show is sold out, but there are so many people with so many good things to say. We'll have all the latest sound and breaking news on the Freddie Gray case right here on the Savage Nation.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
Hey, our Savage Nation is sponsored by SwissAmerica.com, the only company I trust for wealth insurance, gold and silver. Call 800-BUYCOIN.
Lieutenant Rice and all of the officers are deeply affected by Mr. Gray's passing, and that his injuries did not occur as a result of any action or inaction on the part of these officers. It is our intention to try this case in the courtroom and not the media. These statements have been made in an effort to protect all of the officers from undue prejudicial effect of publicity surrounding this case. We believe that these officers will be vindicated as they have done nothing wrong.
He's 100% right. Fraternal Order of Police, they're fighting back against this ambitious, vicious political DA. She rushed to judgment. No due process afforded the police, ruined their lives in order to calm down the mobs and move up politically. There's no question in my mind. Now, does that mean that the guy should have died? No. No one's saying he should have died. No one said that that he didn't die. But just because a man dies in custody doesn't mean someone killed him, by the way. This is a distortion of the liberal viewpoint of police work. Marilyn Mosby is not objective. She's a political animal. And the attorney for the Gray family, that's the dead man, Bill Murphy, is a close personal friend. He gave her $5,000 for her campaign. He was on her transition team. Her husband is a councilman in the district where much of the rioting occurred. And that's Baltimore City Councilman Nick Mosby. The fact of the matter is, from the get-go, this prosecution stinks. And I would say she should be ashamed of herself, but she's in a long line of individuals along that line, including Barack Obama, Attorney General Holder, I would even say Al Sharpton. They're all one and the same in mentality. That's what they are. So listen to her again now in her appeasing of the rioters who burnt the city down in clip 6. She becomes one of them in this statement.
To the youth of this city, I will seek justice on your behalf. This is a moment. This is your moment. Let's ensure that we have peaceful and productive rallies that will develop structural and systemic changes for generations to come. You're at the forefront of this cause. And as young people, our time is now.
See, she's one of the rioters. She said, I will seek justice on your behalf. Did you hear what she said? She didn't say justice in this case or on behalf of Mr. Gray. She said justice on your behalf, the rioters. Then she said, this is your moment. She's thanking them for burning the city to the ground. Then the phrase structural and systemic changes comes right out of the College Crackpot Handbook. The College Crackpot Handbook of Anti-Americanism has such phraseology as structural and systemic changes. Then she says, you're at the forefront of this cause. What cause? What cause was that? What is the cause she's talking about? If she says it's a cause, then she's already shown her bias. She shouldn't be talking about a cause. She should be talking about a man's death. So the cause she's talking about indicates that she's a biased political animal. She rushed to judgment. She ruined the lives of 6 police officers. She made the lives of everyone in Baltimore less safe. And she has vindicated the mobsters who burnt the city to the ground. The only one who wins here are them. More about it on the Savage Nation in the coming hour. Be here or be nowhere.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage. Warning. The Savage Nation contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation, home of unprotected talk, borders, language, culture. And here he is, Michael Savage.
Oh, if only we could start it over again. How'd you like to turn the clock back to 2007, before this gangster took over America and wrecked everything? Welcome to the program. Did I attract your attention? You think it has nothing to do with the community organizer in the White House? You think it has nothing to do with the race war he started? You think it has nothing to do with what they've been doing to police from the get-go? You think it has nothing to do with that? I disagree with you. This case, as we see it, is a tragedy all around. I say we, I'm using the imperial we, meaning me. Me, myself, and I. This prosecutor is a political animal who herself should be prosecuted for her rush to judgment and violating the due process of these police. In any other city of America, this never would have happened. But it happened there because we have a situation that is ripe for it. She identifies with the rioters. In her own speech today to the rioters, she said she's one of them. And she then says to all of those who are out there that she heard their calls for no justice and no peace. And she says, I will work to deliver justice. Deliver justice? She means seek justice, doesn't she? She means railroad the cops is what she means. This woman doesn't have the intellect for this job. She was strictly put in there as a stooge of the gangs in Baltimore, in my opinion, who are now running the city, as witnessed by what happened over the last few days. They rushed to judgment on the cops. Have any of the rioters or looters or fire starters been indicted as quickly? Answer no. But she rushed to judgment. She attacked them. Huge charges, ruined their lives. No cop in America now is safe. Every criminal in America is now safe to ply his trade. Every shoplifter onto a murderer can now claim that they're being unfairly treated by the police. What do you want the police to do? Go up and say, would you please put your hands in the handcuffs after raping someone? Is that what you like them to do? If someone robs something, they're allowed to, excuse me, sir, may I have, may you please put your hands in the handcuffs? What do you think is going to happen now? You think the police are going to do their job? Not really. It'll be like San Francisco's police. Amongst the finest police forces in the city, they've been deballed to the point where they only go after the most horrendous and obvious cases. Otherwise, you can't find them. They're nowhere to be seen. Do you blame them? If a cop in San Francisco does his job, they're crucified immediately by the vermin who run the city. If a cop in San Francisco does his job, they're considered guilty before the criminal is considered guilty in this twisted sister of a city that I live in. So it's no different than Baltimore, but it's only maybe a little worse. So today we're talking about the charges against 6 officers in the Freddie Gray trial. There's no question in my mind that this woman should have recused herself. There should have been a special prosecutor. And it doesn't matter really where you fall down in this case, where you come down in this case. She's not objective. The attorney for the dead man Gray, Bill Murphy, is a close friend, gave her campaign donations of $5,000. He was, on her transition team. Her husband is a city councilman in the district in which much of the rioting occurred. There's no question that she has no right to try this case. And we should talk about that. But let's begin with Baltimore State Attorney, which is a DA to you, Marilyn Mosby, coming fresh out of law school like a typical liberal, brainwashed, anti-police, anti-American mouthpiece, a little parrot. We'll jump past the charges and go to clip 6, and you listen to the parrot rushing to judgment in 6.
To the youth of this city, I will seek justice on your behalf. This is a moment. This is your moment. Let's ensure that we have peaceful and productive rallies that will develop structural and systemic changes for generations to come.
Right.
You're at the forefront of this cause. And as young people, our time is now.
Structural and systemic changes. That's right out of the communist playbook that you're hearing out of Harvard and everywhere else where the communists have taken over the universities. And she wants changes for generations to come. Then she says to the mobs who burnt the city down, you're at the forefront of this cause? What cause is that? So she's telling them they did the right thing. Then she says, as young people, our time is now. Meaning she's one of them. She's one of the looters. She's identifying with the burning and the looting, is she not? Then she goes on to generalize now and further castigate the police before trial in 07. Listen.
That are angry, hurt, or have their own experiences of injustice at the hands of police officers. I urge you to channel the energy peacefully as we prosecute this case.
Right.
I've heard your calls for no justice, no peace. However, your peace is sincerely needed as I work to deliver justice on behalf of Freddie Gray.
Deliver justice, not seek justice, but deliver it. Those of you who are into words understand how important the work is that I'm doing for you today. And I think you need to understand how, not only how biased she is, but how stupid she is. She could hardly say the words because they were written for her, obviously, by the same group that works for Obama and Al